Tonight, we take a slow and peaceful journey through the life of Avatar Aang after the 100-Year War. We will gently walk through his struggles, his accomplishments, and the legacy he left behind. Aang's story did not end with Fire Lord Ozai. In fact, it was only the beginning. So close your eyes, relax, and let's begin the untold tale of the last Airbender. Segment 1. Aftermath of Victory. When the world celebrated the end of the 100-Year War, Aang felt a deep unease. Cities were in ruins, communities divided, and survivors were traumatized. Aang traveled through once besieged villages, listening to the stories of those who had lost everything. He consoled grieving families and helped rebuild homes with his bending skills, laying foundations by hand to stay grounded with the people. Segment 2. Diplomatic tensions and the burden of alliance. Aang and Zuko frequently met with regional governors, many of whom distrusted the new Fire Lord. Aang's role shifted toward diplomacy. He learned multiple languages to speak to remote tribes and border villages. He took long journeys on foot to attend summits, often choosing not to arrive with fanfare, but instead to walk among citizens as one of them. He used his avatar status sparingly, preferring dialogue to command. Segment 3. The Rise of the Harmony Restoration Movement. With Earth Kingdom's support, Aang co-founded the Harmony Restoration Movement. Its goal was simple on paper: withdraw Fire Nation presence from occupied lands. But in execution, the movement stirred civil unrest. Aang had to arbitrate between Earth Kingdom rebels, Fire Nation colonists, and confused civilians. He spent nights drafting declarations and mediation protocols, reading old treaties, and learning from the mistakes of Avatar Karuk. Segment 4. Ethical Dilemmas and the Cost of Peace. Should culture be uprooted for the sake of borders? Aang confronted this moral dilemma head-on. He listened to Fire Nation children who identified as Earth Kingdom citizens, and to Earth Kingdom elders whose land had been taken. These stories haunted him. In one particularly emotional case, Aang spent 2 weeks in a small village trying to resolve a standoff between generations. He left without fully solving the dispute, but with a deepened sense of humility. Segment 5. Spiritual Anchoring and Guidance from the Past. Every few weeks, Aang returned to sacred sites to meditate. He sought answers from Avatar Roku, but also from less visited past lives, Yang Chen, who emphasized spiritual unity, and even Karuk, who warned against complacency. During one profound vision, Aang saw a possible future where peace was lost due to indecision. It stirred him to act with more urgency. Segment 6. Reclaiming the Air Nomad Legacy. Aang's personal mission intertwined with his political one. He began restoring air nomad traditions. At the Southern Air Temple, he reassembled ancient wind chimes and recovered murals detailing early air nomad philosophy. He kept a diary of chants, meditations, and customs, and taught them to interested locals, laying the groundwork for what would become the Air Acolytes. Segment 7. Sokka's Support and Earth Kingdom Projects. Aang was never alone. Sokka traveled with him often, offering comic relief but also practical insight. Together they established food distribution networks and helped organize democratic councils in villages previously ruled by warlords. Aang would often say Sokka's pen, used to draft fair laws, was more powerful than any blade. Segment 8. Glimpses of Change and Inner Conflict. Though progress was slow, Aang began to witness moments of hope. Children playing together from different nations, community leaders shaking hands. But with every step forward, doubt lingered. Was he doing enough? Had he truly ended the war or just paused it? Each day was a balancing act between action and patience, compassion and firmness, past and future. The weight of peace was heavier than war. And still, Aang carried it with grace. When the war ended, peace did not immediately follow. Aang and Zuko, now allies, faced a shattered world. The Fire Nation had colonized vast Earth Kingdom territories. Many citizens feared a return to tyranny. Aang worked closely with Zuko to disarm Fire Nation troops stationed abroad. Their friendship, forged in fire, was tested by politics. Aang had to transition from warrior to mediator. He revived the air nomad customs, slowly reintroducing lost traditions. He traveled the world with Katara, seeking old temples and preserving artifacts. Some temples were in ruins, others were occupied by squatters or forgotten in history. Aang's heart ached with every lost relic, but each discovery was a seed of hope. The Harmony Restoration movement was launched to remove the Fire Nation colonies from the Earth Kingdom, but complications arose. Not all Fire Nation citizens wanted to return home. Many had been born and raised in these colonies and saw them as their rightful home. Aang faced a dilemma. Should he forcibly relocate families to restore borders, or accept a new kind of unity? These questions plagued him as he sought balance between tradition and change. He spent hours meditating under ancient banyan trees, often consulting the spirits of past avatars. Roku urged firmness and duty. Kyoshi, with her unyielding justice, warned of chaos without boundaries. Aang, ever the pacifist, searched for harmony. He was also burdened by expectations. To the world, he was the Avatar, the hero who ended a century of war. To himself, he was still a boy trying to understand his role. Even as he reconnected with the world's elements, gliding over mountain ranges, diving through coral reefs, racing Appa above golden plains, he felt the weight of every choice. This chapter of Aang's life was not filled with battles, but with decisions. Hard, quiet decisions that would shape a new era. In a journey chronicled in the graphic novel The Search, Aang helped Zuko uncover the truth about his mother, Ursa. This quest began with dreams, Zuko's longing for answers and closure. Together, with Katara and Azula, they ventured deep into the mystical Forgetful Valley, a forest steeped in spirit magic, where even memories could be lost. The journey tested them all. Azula, still tormented by her past, oscillated between ally and enemy. Her presence brought tension, but also critical insight. Aang had to remain vigilant, balancing compassion with caution. They encountered strange creatures, shifting landscapes, and whispers of forgotten lives. The spirit world bled into reality here, and Aang's deepening connection allowed him to sense its flow. Eventually, they met the Mother of Faces, a spirit of sorrow and compassion. She had helped Ursa erase her past, change her appearance, and become Noriko. Aang's role was not just that of a protector or bender. He served as the calm heart of the group, guiding them through spiritual challenges and emotional revelations. The reunion between Zuko and Ursa was bittersweet. Aang stood witness to a family's healing, understanding that peace was not only a matter of nations, but of hearts. As tensions over the Fire Nation colonies continued, Aang and Zuko envisioned something new. A city not bound by one nation, but united by all. Republic City was to be a place where benders and non-benders of every nation could live in harmony. It was built on the ruins of conflict, but aimed for the future. Aang took this task to heart. He meditated daily at the city's foundation stone, asking the spirits for guidance. He invited architects and sages from all nations to contribute. He worked closely with Toph, whose metal-bending academy trained the first police officers. These officers weren't soldiers, they were peacekeepers. The city grew rapidly. Air nomad towers